Hi and welcome. Today we will learn about pathfinders. I don't like this white canvas as it has too much light intensity, which is not good for eyes. I always prefer to create shapes outside of the canvas. Pick Ellipse tool and create a circle. Then make a copy of the shape and fill it with black color. Now if we want to merge these both shapes, there are two options. Use Shift-AM to pick Shape Builder tool, then click and drag on shapes. We have already created video on Shape Builder, so we won't be discussing it more over here. Second method is when more than one shapes are selected, you will see Pathfinder tab in the Properties window. If we select this first option, it's called Unite, it will merge these both shapes, allowing the foreground color to fill on the entire shape, and it will become one closed path. If you don't see Pathfinder option, go to Window and click on Pathfinders. You now have complete new Pathfinder tab. If we bring this white shape into front using Ctrl-Shift close bracket, then click on Unite, notice this time white color is applied. Upon merging, whatever color is on the foreground shape will be applied to the entire shape. This second option is called minus front. It's very useful and interesting. Let me adjust this a little bit. And now, if we click on minus, it cuts the front shape from the back shape. Adjust it a little more, and you will have a waning crescent moon. Let's create one more design. Make this white circle smaller oval shape. And place it over here like this. Now pick the rotation tool. Note that we have already talked about rotation tool, so don't expect me explaining it here. Hold Alt key and click on the center of the shape. Then define the rotation. If you want 10 pieces around the circle, just write 360 and divide it by 10, like this. Click on Copy and then press Ctrl D to repeat it several times. Create another circle and place it on the center. Or just set it aside and let's deal with these shapes first. Select all and click on minus front. Now pick this white circle and on the option bar you can see alignment options. Align it horizontally and vertically to center. Then click on minus front. It's a flat shape of gear. Note that flat shapes are those shapes which has no 3D supporting effects like shadow or gradients. Let's set it aside too. Create another circle with help of Ellipse tool. Duplicate it. And now we will use Intersect option. Remove fill color for now. Now select both shapes and click on Intersect. It gave us the common area between those two shapes. If we go back by pressing Ctrl Z, you can see over here this overlapping area is the intersection between these two shapes. Let's make another copy of circle. Now we know this area is common and intersecting among all shapes. See, we got as expected. Press Ctrl Z to undo and delete this one circle, and now we will move on to the next option. It's called Exclude. Exclude is the opposite of intersection. So if we select both shapes and click on Exclude, for a moment you may think nothing had happened. And if we try to move shape, both will move together. What has happened? Just select both shapes and right-click, then ungroup it. You will left with two shapes excluding the common area. Give it fill color so you can notice it more clearly. See, we have shapes excluded the overlapping area. Next, let's assume we have these two shapes, this one little smaller, and we want to merge them, but in different way. If we hover over the Unite option, there's something written like hold Alt key to create compound shape. If we do so by holding Alt and click on it, it will unite both shapes and making them adjustable. When we hover mouse over the shape, you can see path is still available. It means we can adjust its position. Pick the direct selection tool and select shape to reposition it. Once you're satisfied with result, pick the selection tool again. Then select both shapes and you can see expand option in the Pathfinder panel. Click on it and both shapes are now converted into one shape. This is very helpful when you are trying to create something you don't sure of it being accurate. Similarly, if we have these two shapes and click on minus front while holding Alt key. Notice why is nothing happening? I made a mistake. What is my mistake here? Because I have selected only one shape, You need to select at least 2 shapes to apply Pathfinder options. Select both, and now while holding Alt key, when is clicked, front shape is subtracted from the bottom one. When we hover mouse over it is showing path, it means we can adjust it using direct selection tool. Pick it up and select the shape, adjust it. And lastly, click on expand. And when you are done, select both shapes again. Notice that the expand option is disabled. I have made another mistake to show you guys, which is very common among new users. You have to pick selection tool and then expand option shall show up. Click on it and you are done. Let's undo it. Same applies to intersect option. Hold Alt key and click on the intersect option. It gives the common area with movable shapes. Pick direct selection and drag the shape to acquire your desired area. Moving on to the next options. Let's take a look at these 3 options at first: divide, trim and merge. If we create a circle, and then pick line tool to draw line. Or pick pen tool instead, draw path like this, and remove the fill color. While selected, both shapes, click on divide will give you 2 separate shapes. It acts like knife tool but with more precise way. Notice we have 2 shapes but both are grouped together. Now just select both shapes, right click and click on ungroup. You have now 2 separate shapes. Let's undo it and see if you have fill color applied to the path, then clicked on divide option. Now if you ungroup them, see how weird shapes are created. Moving on to the next option, it's called trim. Make it overlapping like this. Now let's assume you want to print these shapes for your shirt. When we use screen printing, it will print all those hidden areas which are behind one another and will waste printer ink. We want only visible areas of the shapes to be printed. Select all shapes and then click on trim. Now ungroup them. See, those areas which were not visible is gone. Our next option is merge. Let's take this shape and duplicate it. Now these 2 shapes are of same color. If we select both and click on merge, it will unite both shapes into single shape. Let's undo it and see what if we have different color shapes. Select these 2 shapes and click on merge. See, it acted like a trim option, removing the overlapping area from behind shape. Our next option is crop. If we select these both shapes, and then click on crop, see, it acted like intersect option would do, but with the addition of this front shape path. I wonder where it would be used, because I didn't find any related guidance to this date. Undo this and see what our next option, outline, has to offer. When both shapes are selected, click on outline. It will remove the fill from both shapes. And it will cut and give you the front shape without closing the path. Now our last option is minus back. See, if we click on it, it will minus back shape from the front one. Recall what minus front option was doing, it was removing front shape from the back shape. That's it. Consider like and subscribe to my channel.